Good morning. I've just woken up. And again, I thought I'd give him a nice POV. And look, this is what I get to wake up to as well. Look at this. Right, so open the door. Oh, every morning, boyskis and girlskis. Like, it's great. It's incredible. I just turned on my mic this time, so I don't know how much you heard of that, but let's get to it. So, week in review. It's been a fairly good week for me. Trading wise, I've managed to make a few $1,000. But it's been a bit frustrating in the sense that some of my accounts that have been on standby, essentially I've been waiting to get paid on them, and usually it takes, not very long, but it's just been frustrating that it took them 3 days to pay me, so then I couldn't trade the account for 3 days, and then when I got the account over the line, I asked for the account to be scaled up, and they said, oh no, you went over like 4%, I think, in a couple of days. And it's one of them, I don't mind them doing that, but on the scale up page, it has no mention of that. So it's like, if I knew that was the case on those days that I was a bit tilted, I would have just stopped. Because I'm still, a trader, I tilt, I have these things when I'm trading, right? I'm better at managing them, but they still happen, that's the reality, right? You can't get rid of emotions, you just have to learn how to respond to them. And on that day I was just not responding as I should have been, and it's funny, a lot of the times I say to myself, just stop trading now, and then I think, oh, it's just a challenge account, it doesn't matter. And that's where the issues lie, right? When I'm doing my challenges, I treat them a bit differently to what I would on my funded. And so zinc again, and yeah, and then I passed another challenge with them, so I wanted to get the accounts merged. So the account didn't get scaled, and I'm still waiting for the account to be onboarded. So it took 3 days for them to approve it, and it's going to take another 3 days for them to be onboarded. I'm like, this is 6 days. And then by the time I get the accounts merged, it's going to take another 3 days. So essentially they're nerfing me. They don't want to pay me for 2 weeks. That's what it is. And it's They can spin it any other way they want. At the end of the day, they're a business and they're trying to slow the outflow of money. And with a trade like me, I'm averaging with this firm maybe about 7,000 every couple of weeks. I'm going to try and push that now to 12, 15, and I can. It's just cutting down on the rubbish trades and focusing on my good trades, right? And I can do it. I know I can. It's just now that I'm in my flow, as in I'm finally in Thailand and settled, I don't have to be forcing any trade ideas. But let's zoom in onto the chart and I'll show you the trade that I took yesterday. I recall on the last video that I did, I was discussing about the US 30 trade. So let's have a look at the terminal now and we'll see how it went. And you can see, here we go, where I entered in on the video, and the exit point I scaled into the position. So if we zoom in some more on the 15 minute, and I'll talk about why I scaled in. Okay, so where are we? There we go. Let's try and bring it down a bit. Zoom it in a little bit more. Yeah. So you can see I scaled into the position, right? So the scale in was because we had a nice bearish close from here. So this kind of floating channel broke. So I knew it would pull back, but it's one of them where I could scale in my stops a little bit. So still kept the risk very much the same. And I exited here. And the reason being, if we look here, of the noise here. And yeah, it could have doubled my money, but I was about to go shopping. I was about to do many things. And it's important to enjoy life, if I see $4,000 on my screen, on this account was 5,000, I'm going to take it. You gotta remember, I was broke a few months ago. I had nothing to my name, so now I can accept a $4,000 day, it's, but I do want to push the accounts, but I'd rather finish the week on a high because not this specific account, but this trade was the only one that kind of really paid me and one other one, because my other accounts have been on standby. So on the agenda today, I'm going to be doing a one-on-one session, going to be reviewing the bootcamp content that I'm creating with a consultant. He's really helping me put together a great system, so then when I do launch the bootcamp, which is going to be like an 8-week program, it's going to have some real structure to it. And I'm not seeing this as a course, I'm seeing it as an experience, right? You're getting to experience what it's like being me, right? As a trader, the red days, the green days, the profit taking, the profit splits, because I'm still only trading props at the moment. And, for some people, it's just seeing it firsthand. Because you can go into some Discords or these types of communities, and it's very much like, you're not really looked after. My goal is to just take on 20 to 30 people and really help them find their issues, because their issues typically just lie in here. And when you're around people, or you're around someone that's doing what you specifically want to do, whether that's travel, trade, etc., you'll start to feel it rub off, right? So the goal is to help people just transition into the final phase of their trading journey. And I've done it, like I said, it's my 3rd time around. So this time around, it's much different because I have more of a foundation, I have more accounts, I have more experience. And you can't teach it, but you can show it, right? And by showing it, you can feel it. When you feel it, you know the expectations. And I've never invested in any training, coaching, etc. Because I've always just done it my way, and I don't think I would respond well to people trying to tell me another way. And that's just me. That's me as a human. And I'm always willing to learn, but I'm not willing to be shouted at. Yeah, I see it as someone shouting at me. I'd rather be guided, and I don't think I can get that through current means. I talk to my sensei, Matt, who guides me throughout my whole journey, really. He was the one that told me to start Instagram. He was the one that, helped me when things were looking a bit murky. So yeah, my goal is to do what Matt did for me, for you, but on a bigger scale, because he doesn't really do social media anymore. And why would you if you're earning astonishing amounts of money? So yeah, I don't have the types of mind that he has, but I do with what I do with what I can with my brain. So yeah, I'm gonna do this one-on-one now, review my coaching ting, and then enjoy the day. I'm gonna go shopping. I'm going to just explore, and now that I'm more settled here, maybe next week I'll be doing more vlogging style of content. But my time is quite limited because I do want to enjoy life. I like to keep segmented parts of my day. Morning is just training, fitness and mind, and then midday is networking and trading, and then afternoon is just relaxing, and then coming into the latter part of the evening trading again. So I don't like to overstimulate myself, because that's where I kind of dropped the ball last time as well. So it's important when you're trading is knowing where your weaknesses lie as well. So for me, I know exactly where my weaknesses lie. If I'm overstimulated, overworked, in the sense that I've got too much going on. That's why I say to people, like, I can only handle like two things at a time. If I start to push that boundary, the quality of that, and then the stress levels, it all starts to cascade down in a negative way. So I try and keep like my relentless focus in the core areas at the core times of day, and then scale on those areas whilst I'm doing them. So for me right now, my biggest priority is getting fit and healthy, because I'm not where I want to be on that side of things. So that's why my mornings consist of just health, fitness, and just well-being, because that's also the biggest catalyst that pushes over into my trading, right? So if I'm being fit, I'm working on my mind, so when I do my trading, it's coming from a place of positivity, and that's where it counts. That's the most important bit, and it's so undervalued. I know so many people that are great traders, but their mind is just cat brain, I call it. It's like herding cats. Like, they can't get a hold of themselves. And the thing is, sometimes these emotions don't go, but it's about being aware of them as well. So for me, I'm an emotional person. I'm a very emotional person. And I can't change that. So when I'm trading, it's just being aware of my emotions. And I don't let them interfere as much anymore, because the money isn't real until I take it out, right? If I request the payout. And that's why I love Funder Pro, because it's quite literally not a funded account, it's like a live account, because I can withdraw daily and get paid in minutes. And some people think I badger about it all the time, but there's a reason for it. I've used so many different products in this space, over the years especially, and this is just, in every aspect of the prop business, it's just the best. Support, I find talking to their support really easy. I know it sounds silly, but the amount of times I've spoken to some support and I feel like I'm pulling out my bloody hair. I'm like, oh, come on, bruv. Like, it's a simple question and you're struggling with it. And I don't get that with Funder Pro. They answer it and they put me in the right direction, and it's just a waiting game. And when I get funded, it's literally I pass the challenge. I sign a contract, or if there's not a contract because I've done it before, I get the account within less than 24 hours, 2 days max. With some firms that I'm currently with, it takes them 3 to 5 days. And then when I want a payout, it takes them 3 to 5 days. With Funder Pro, it takes seconds to like 4 hours max. And then I can trade again. And it's just, the overall experience is just incredible. And that's why I talk about them. That's why I actively use them and actively, promote them, because there's no other product in the space that's doing the same thing. And it's just brand awareness, right? So I'm trying to be a part of that in the business, right? I'm trying to build the brand awareness, because it quite literally changed my life, and I want it to change everyone else's. And people might look at it and think, oh, it's a more expensive product. But it's like anything, you pay more for a better product, because I can trade very freely. There's no restrictions on my trading. I can utilize all of my plays that I have in the old noggin. And with other firms, I just feel like, I could do that, but then after a while, they're like, oh, you can't be doing that. Ooh. So, yeah. That's my day. That's an insight into the party shirt world. So, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And as usual, peace and love.